Nicole Scott here from Mobile Geeks, and here we are at the Intel booth at IFA 2013, and right over there Sasha and Kashi are live streaming. It's a really exciting moment, but what's more exciting, well actually it's not more exciting than a live stream, nothing's more exciting than a live stream, but we have here the Yoga 2 Pro. So this is the upgrade from the Yoga 13, which I have here. So I'm going to do a comparison between the two units, but first we're going to take a quick walk around this one so you can kind of see what's going on. There's a definite improvement in the weight, 1.3 kilos, and another great feature is that it's much thinner. So if we just take a look at the system here, you can see that we've got the USB with a quick charge, headphone jack, volume rocker, I believe that's the mute button or the screen lock. There we have a headphone button. There's the power buttons there. Oh, that's the reset button. All right. And then we have the power button. So if we just take a quick look at the other side of the Yoga, the old Yoga, the Yoga 13, you can see that this is significantly thinner. They've changed so up here we have the PSU, USB 2, SD card, and then this is the button for the orientation, the reset button here. So you can see that it is significantly thinner, especially here on the edge. And one thing that you'll notice as well is if you kind of take a look in the light over here, you can see that the styling is much different. So this kind of angles in, and it has this, kind of inward angle on both the top and the bottom, and there's a rubberized moment here as well. And now the reason why they've done that, so they've actually improved the design. So you can see that when we flip it up into the Yoga mode, that the unit's kind of angled to stay up. So it's definitely different than what we have here with the Yoga. So it's definitely not as sturdy. This is kind of a rubberized plastic. This is just the exterior of the unit. So now if we take a look as well, say at the keyboards of these two units, one of the biggest improvements here, you can actually see it maybe, is that it's backlit. So this does not have a backlit keyboard. This is my day-to-day, everyday unit. So I am a Yoga user, and it's surprising how often I do use it in this scenario. Now if we take a look at the hinges up here at the top, you can see that they've kept the same kind of indented style up here, but they've definitely thinned everything down. So the hinge is smaller, the track up here is smaller. Now one of the interesting things about the Yoga 13 is that this is actually a 2-hinge system, right? So the reason why it's never really going to get any thinner, so you see when you pull it up, there's one hinge there, and then it kind of stops, and then there's a second hinge for the top. So the Yoga is actually built on a 2-hinge system, which actually makes it very sturdy. So you see that's turning there, and then when we hit this point here, the flat point, then the second hinge takes place in there. So I've always found that really interesting. That's why I thought the Yoga couldn't really get any thinner because of the 2-hinge system. But if we look at the back between these two, they actually have made it thinner. So they have the same 2-hinge system, but they've kind of narrowed it down. They've made it less. They've narrowed the height and the width, it looks like, a little bit. So you can see that the venting system is very similar between the two units, and they've kept, of course, the beautiful styling, so that whatever color you decide to get it in, you'll be able to, have that dual tone aesthetic look. Now let's take a look at the other side of the Yoga, which we have not done yet. So here we have, this is the Pro up here. So this is the PSU, the USB 3, HDMI, and the SD card. So you can see on the Yoga 13, they put the volume over here. They kept the USB 3, so they've actually changed the HDMI to a micro or a mini HDMI, whereas on the 13 they had the full size, which to be honest I really liked. They also have the headphone jack on this side. And on the Yoga Pro, where is the headphone jack? Did I mention it on the other side? Yeah, it's right over there. So if we just take a look at the unit itself, you'll see that there is a difference between the overall aesthetic of the display. So they've removed the physical touch button for a virtual touch button. Now the other big difference between the two units is this has a QHD display. So this is 3200 3200 by 1800. And then the original yoga is 1900 or 1600 by 9. So they're still HD, but this is one of the really high QHD resolution displays. This is one of the quad HD. Oh, sorry, quad HD. A little bit less, that's right. So this is actually competing, or actually higher than what the Chromebook Pixel is doing by just a little bit. So I'm a huge fan of the yoga form factor. I definitely use it in lots of different ways. The trackpad is, to be honest, I'd like to review this trackpad, because my trackpad after March, April, I've had this since March, it's now September. It's sometimes a little not as reliable as I would like. I am a pretty aggressive tapper, but we'll see. But the trackpad definitely has gotten smaller. So this has just been a quick look at both yogas. The Yoga Pro, Yoga 2 Pro, comes Core i3 up to Core i7. This particular unit has 4 gigabytes of RAM, goes up to 8. So there are definitely incremental improvements. So this has a 256 SSD, this one has a 512 SSD. So I mean, it's everything that you would expect in a yoga upgrade. But definitely they've improved the aesthetics, they've put a killer display in, obviously Haswell, who doesn't want that? So I'm Nicole Scott from Mobile Geeks, looking forward to actually leaving my 13 and trying out the Yoga 2 Pro, because, well, I do love rendering my videos and walking around for you. One of my favorite things in the world. So I'm Nicole Scott from Mobile Geeks.